Page 27, partly cloudy. In this lesson, they're introducing the grand staff. Now we can start putting some of the pieces together and get a bigger picture and kind of hopefully better understand what's going on and so forth. The grand staff is simply two, it could be three staves, but two staves. You see it at the top in the middle. Two staves. They're connected. Vertical lines go all the way through both staves. When the vertical line goes through multiple staves like that, it's telling you you're playing everything in all those staves at the same time. We call that a line. You look at partly cloudy, it's got two staves going across connected and then another two staves going across connected. Well, we call that two lines. That's 2 lines long because one grand staff is one line of music because you're playing it all at one time. Now, in front of the grand staff, there's a curly brace, and that's really what identifies it as a grand staff. Any instrument that needs to play a lot of notes like that gets a grand staff. Pianos, obviously, organs, harp players, they have to have a grand staff. Any instrument that needs a lot of notes gets it. Other instruments, they only need one staff. They'll get one or the other. Yeah. Or different ones. I mean, there are other clef signs besides these, but piano uses treble and bass. On the staves, the top staff has the treble, that's for the higher notes up here, and the lower staff has the bass clef for the lower notes down here, and they work together. Now the reason why the notes are different in the staves. Let's go back to our old friend middle C. Remember I told you a while back, middle C is the lower two, and it's the C basically in front of you when you're sitting at the piano. It's not middle C because it's in the middle of the piano. It's not in the middle of the piano. It's middle C because it's in the middle of the grand staff. If you look in the center there, in the upper, right under the keyboard, they have the grand staff and they're showing you middle C is the second note. It's on a little line between the staves. It's not on either staff. It's between them. It's right in the middle of them. Here, middle C. So, bass clef, you have the F. Remember the F clef between the dots down here? And in treble clef, you have the G clef. Remember the G? The G, by the way, is when you have these curly, that bottom curl, I didn't point it out. The line that goes in between it, that's the G. That's what's pointed here. So we have the C, the F, and the G. Well, if you'll notice, these notes are all symmetrical. Because this note, there's 1, 2, 3 notes in between, and this note, there's 1, 2, 3 notes in between. They're symmetrical. So it works out this way, where the bass clef shows an F, and the treble clef shows a G, because it all fits together. It's like a jigsaw puzzle, where they're interlocking, they fix together. That's what happens here. So you already know in treble clef, you got these notes down. Now you need to get these two notes. The middle C is on the line below the staff, and the D is under the bottom line, because the bottom line in treble clef is an E. So I'm leaving it to you to know these 5 notes in treble clef now. It's really important that you know them. We got a lot more notes to learn, so get these down. They're automatic. You do the play it and say it drill. Here, C, 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 D, E, D, C. Forget the rhythm, just play the note and say the note. The idea is you want to see the note in the music, play the note on the piano, and hear what it sounds like. All 3 of those things together. That's what this play it and say it drill does for you. Now the bass clef, the second line is bass clef. Down here you're using 3rd finger on A. We already know the A, I hope, because you knew these 3, and you know the top line is an A. And that C is on a little line above the staff. Remember, middle C is between them. So in the first measure, you have the middle C here. And in the 5th, 6th measure, you have the C and the bottom staff here. It's the same note on the keyboard. It's the same note. And by the way, the number, you see in the second line above the staff, there's a 5 with a little number. That's a measure number. I refer to measure numbers a lot. So I say, you look at measure 1, and 1 doesn't need a number, it's first measure. And you have middle C, measure 1, but then you look at measure 6, and you get a middle C there. It's just being played with the other hand. It's in the other staff. It doesn't have to be. One hand could play this whole thing. But we're going to do it that way. And that's how it works. So you're going to be using these 3 notes. So you got these, you need to add these two notes to it. So when you do that, now you're going to have all these notes learned in the music, all of these. And I'll leave it to you to just drill yourself and learn these as quickly as you can so you know them instantly. If you don't, then you still have to figure it out. Well, this is an F, so I go up to, that's an A, and that's a B, and that's a C, and you can count up and down, but you still need to know these notes instantly. So I'll go through the process I used to learn a piece of music. Let's see where we get. I look it over. It's 2 lines long with a repeat sign, so we're going to play it twice. The clef signs are treble and bass. Check both clef signs because they do not have to be treble and bass. They need to be one of them or both, but not like that. They could both be bass clef, or they could both be treble clef. It's whatever the music needs. If all the stuff you're playing is down here, then they would both be bass clef. And if all the stuff you're playing is up here, then they would both be treble clef, probably. So just get in the habit of always checking the clef signs. It's part of the process. Treble and bass clef, okay. 4/4 time signature, and all of the stabs have to have the same time signature. You can't have one staff counting one way and another staff counting another. It doesn't work. So both stabs have to be the same time signature, and you're wondering, so why don't they just put it in one and you know they're both the same? Why do you have to have the numbers in both stabs? And that is because both stabs are complete in themselves, so they have to have their own notation. And there's an exception to that, and but as far as the time signature goes, both stabs have to have the time signature, and it needs to be the same. And then I look it over, I see quarter notes and half notes and whole notes. Okay, right hand's playing the first line because it's in the upper staff. We're going to use right hand for that. And the left hand's playing the second line because lower hand for that. Okay, where do the hands go? Well, in the first one, the thumb's on middle C. That puts the hand here. In the second line, third finger's on A. That puts the hand here. So we're here. This is called middle C position, because they're sharing middle C. We don't need 2 fingers to play a note. It's silly. And there isn't even room, really. So what we do is it's one hand or the other. They have to share it like a timeshare thing. It's one hand gets it or the other. In theory, one hand could play it all, but that's all right. We're going to do it this way. And you put both hands on the keyboard, leave them there for the whole thing, and then you play it here. And I get the notes first. 1, 2, 3, 4. You get that? Okay. And then second line, you're here. 3, 4. So now the left hand's playing middle C. So I get the notes and the rhythms. And then I'll go back over and I'll make sure there's no hesitations anywhere. I go as slow as you need to, but no hesitations. Now once I have that out of the way, then I'll think about the articulation. It looks like we've got phrasing in here. Every 2 measures, like taking a breath. Lift up. Then lift up. So just a little silence every couple of measures, like taking a breath. I don't see any staccatos anywhere, so it's just all connected except for the phrases. And then I add the dynamics, and this is P at the beginning, it's soft. Light. And then the speed, that's a general idea. I mean, they say gently, that's not a speed. It's just a nice leisure day. Think of the clouds all over, and it's not a storm, it's just kind of cloudy. Sort of. Not totally. You don't have to go that speed. You decide how you want to feel it and how soft you want to play and so forth. So once you can play this okay with no hesitation, let's play it together and make sure you have the right notes and rhythms. I'll give us 4 counts, and we are going to repeat it. We're just going to play it slowly, sort of. 1, 2, ready, go. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. I like to do the duet for this at the bottom of the page, and you play what you just played, but we're going to take it up a little faster now and play it together. Remember to listen to me, to stay with me, but understand that you got to focus on what you're doing, because I'm playing something totally different than you. And we're going to go back this speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. You play at that speed all the way through. Oh, and I also need you to go up on the keyboard. So pretend middle C on the keyboard instead of here is here. So instead of here, you're actually up here. Play it up here. Play it up here. Because the duet part's down here. Yeah. 1, 2, ready, go.